Watch Chloe's wedding online, my parents texted. My sister warned, don't steal my spotlight. I shut the live stream. Then my phone rang with a chilling threat. The notification ping sliced through the silence of my San Francisco apartment like a gunshot. My phone, perched precariously on the edge of my glass coffee table, buzzed with an urgency that made my stomach lurch. It was 2:47 IEM, June 17th, 2015, and I was still awake, hunched over my laptop, chasing a digital ghost through encrypted servers for a high-stakes cybersecurity case. My eyes burned from hours of staring at code, but that text hit me like a freight train. Grabbed the phone, my fingers trembling as I read the message from my parents' joint number. Ceremony starts in 3 hours. Watch Chloe's wedding here. Link, Boston Alight Events. Password, Chloe Liam 4. Ever. No greeting. No explanation. Just a cold, clinical directive to witness my sister's wedding through a hacked live stream. 18 months after she'd publicly banned me from the event. And then a second text, this one from Chloe herself. Don't you dare comment or make this about you in the chat. Liam's family doesn't know why you're not here. I sat there, frozen, the city's fog curling against my floor-to-ceiling windows like a specter. The audacity of it, the sheer gut-punching cruelty, ignited a firestorm in my chest. For 32 years, I'd been the afterthought in our affluent Boston family, my achievements buried under Chloe's glittering shadow. But this was a new low, a deliberate erasure that crystallized decades of favoritism into a single venomous moment. I could feel the weight of it, the betrayal pressing against my ribs, threatening to crack them open. What I did next would unravel our family's carefully curated legacy forever. My name is Emma Harper, and I'm a cybersecurity analyst at Nexus Tech, one of San Francisco's top firms. I spend my days outsmarting hackers, untangling digital conspiracies, and protecting billion-dollar corporations from collapse. But no firewall could have shielded me from the chaos of my own family. The Harpers of Boston. Richard, a hedge fund titan. Lillian, a socialite with a charity gala for every day of the week. And Chloe, their golden child. An influencer with 1 million followers and a knack for stealing everything that mattered to me. And then there was me, the difficult daughter. The one who dared to build a life 3,000 miles away without their approval. I closed my laptop, the ransomware case I'd been chasing, forgotten. My apartment, all sleek lines and minimalist decor, felt suddenly suffocating. I paced to the window, staring out at the Golden Gate Bridge, its lights blurred by the fog. My reflection stared back, hollow-eyed. The weight of that text pulling me under like a riptide. I was 8 again, watching my birthday candles flicker on a store-bought cake, while Chloe's 5th birthday exploded into a fairy tale gala, with a petting zoo, a live band, and a custom gown for our mother to wear while she played hostess. I was 14, clutching my national coding trophy, alone on a stage, while my parents cheered at Chloe's cheerleading tryouts. I was 16, gasping for air as waves crashed over my jet ski, abandoned in a storm because Chloe needed rescuing from some underage beach party. That jet ski incident still haunts me. We were on a family vacation in the Hamptons, the kind of trip that looked perfect in Lillian's curated Instagram posts. I'd begged to take the jet ski out, promising to stay close to shore, but when Chloe snuck off to a party and missed curfew, my parents sped off in the family yacht to fetch her. leaving me alone as dark clouds rolled in. The engine sputtered, the waves grew vicious, and I clung to the handlebars, screaming into the wind. A Coast Guard boat found me, just as my grip started to fail, hypothermia setting in. Back at the mansion, Chloe was wrapped in a blanket, sipping hot cocoa, while my parents scolded me for not checking the weather. I could have died, but all they saw was Chloe's tear-streaked face. I shook off the memory, my hands balling into fists. The text glowed on my phone, taunting me. I wanted to hurl it across the room, to shatter the screen and pretend this wasn't happening. But curiosity, morbid, masochistic curiosity, clawed at me. What would I see if I clicked that link? A perfect wedding, airbrushed, an Instagram ready, with my absence neatly edited out? Or something messier, something that might finally expose the cracks in their facade? I sank onto my couch, the leather cool against my skin, and opened the link. The live stream loaded, buffering briefly before revealing a pristine garden at Boston's most exclusive country club. White roses and sapphire hydrangeas, my favorite flowers, ironically, framed a velvet aisle. Guests in designer suits and gowns milled about, their laughter tinny through my phone speakers. The camera panned to my parents in the front row. Richard, no empty seat for me, no acknowledgement that I'd ever existed. I poured myself a glass of Pinot Noir, the bottle shaking in my hands. The minister stepped forward, followed by Liam and his groomsmen. Liam Carter, the venture capitalist I'd met at a rare Christmas dinner 2 years ago, back when I thought we had something real. We'd bonded over our love of obscure sci-fi novels and late-night coding sessions, our texts sparking with possibility. Then, without warning, he ghosted me. Weeks later, Chloe posted a selfie with him, her arm draped possessively over his shoulder. Now here he was, about to marry her, his jaw tight, his eyes fixed on some distant point beyond the altar. He didn't look like a man in love. He looked like a prisoner. The bridesmaids glided down the aisle, 5 instead of 6, their sapphire gowns shimmering in the sunlight. My cousin Madison, walking last, glanced at the front row, her lips tightening. I'd paid for one of those gowns, a $1,500 0 cents monstrosity that arrived 3 sizes too small, with Lillian's voice on the phone urging me to crash diet for Chloe's perfect aesthetic. I'd spent $12,000, 0 cents, on flights, hotels, and wedding demands, only to be demoted to guest 8 weeks ago, then uninvited entirely. And yet here I was, watching like some voyeur, unable to look away. Chloe appeared, a vision in lace and crystals, her arm looped through Richard's. The crowd gasped, cameras flashing, but her smile was brittle, her eyes darting. As Richard handed her to Liam, Lillian leaned toward a guest, her voice clear through the mic. My beautiful daughter, our only child, on her perfect day. The words hit like a sledgehammer, 32 years of sisterhood, erased in a single sentence. I gripped my wine glass so hard I thought it would shatter. Then, the unthinkable happened. The live stream flickered, and a pop-up invaded the screen. Emma Harper, why aren't you here? My personal data. Address, social security number, bank details, flashed in bold red text, followed by a taunting message. The Harper's dirty secrets exposed soon. My heart stopped. I slammed my phone down, my cybersecurity training kicking in. This wasn't just a wedding snub. This was a targeted hack, and I was the bait. Bolted to my laptop, fingers flying over the keys as I traced the breach. The live stream server was compromised, routed through a dark web proxy. Someone had weaponized Chloe's wedding to come after me, or worse, our family. My firm, Nexus Tech, had been hit by a ransomware attack last month, with hackers leaking my personal data and tying it to the Harper fortune. Was this connected? Or was it Chloe's doing? A final twist of the knife to punish me for daring to exist. The phone buzzed again, this time a call from an unknown number. I hesitated, then answered. A distorted voice rasped through the line. You should have stayed in Boston, Emma. Watch the stream. Or the next leak takes down your precious career. The line went dead. My pulse roared in my ears. I was a cybersecurity expert trained to stay calm under pressure, but this felt personal, intimate, like someone had crawled inside my life and twisted the wire. I reopened the live stream, my hands shaking. The ceremony continued, oblivious to the digital chaos. Chloe and Liam exchanged vows, their voices flat, rehearsed. The unity candle flickered out, refusing to light. A guest coughed awkwardly. My eyes darted between the screen and my laptop, where I was running a trace on the hack. The signal bounced through servers in Moscow, Beijing, then vanished. Whoever was behind this was good, too good. I thought back to the wedding planning, the months of escalating cruelty. Chloe's demands had been relentless. $1,500 0-cents dresses, Botox injections, a bachelorette weekend in Ibiza I couldn't afford. Her spreadsheet tracked our every move. Weight loss, social media posts, gift contributions, color-coding my failures in screaming red. When I'd arrived at a bridal fitting, a chandelier crashed inches from my head. A prank by Chloe's jealous friend, Vanessa. Or was it a prank? The memory sent a chill down my spine. Then there was the carjacking. Chloe had borrowed my Tesla for a photo shoot, leaving it in a sketchy part of Oakland without telling me. I'd gone to retrieve it at midnight, only to find myself staring down the barrel of a gun. I talked my way out, my voice steady despite the terror, but the incident left me rattled. Chloe's apology was a shrug. You're fine, right? Don't be so dramatic. The live stream buffered, freezing on Chloe's face, her smile a mask. I leaned closer, my breath catching. Was she capable of orchestrating a hack? She'd leaked my therapy notes to the family last month, accusing me of plotting against them after I'd confided in Dr. Sarah Gwynn about my boundaries. The betrayal had gutted me, but a cyber attack? That was next level. My phone lit up with a text from Ethan, my cousin. Reception's a mess. Fire broke out in the kitchen. Chloe just slapped Liam during their dance. You dodged a bullet. I stared at the words, torn between relief and dread. The hack, the fire, the slap. Everything was spiraling and I was somehow at the center. I texted Ethan back. What's the vibe? Anyone talking about me? His reply was instant. Your parents are acting like you never existed. Liam looks miserable. Something's off. I poured another glass of wine, my mind racing. Liam's misery wasn't my problem, but his silence during my exclusion stung. He'd apologized 3 days ago, texting from a hotel. This marriage was a mistake. Chloe's obsessed with outshining you. I'm sorry. He'd admitted Chloe's paranoia about my success, my promotions, my independence, had driven her to sabotage me. But what did he know about the hack? Was he complicit or just another pawn in her game? The live stream resumed, showing the reception. Guests milled about, their smiles strained. The DJ played the wrong first dance song, and Chloe's face twisted in fury. I watched, detached, as my parents sat alone at the family table, their perfect image crumbling. Lillian's voice echoed in my head. You're bitter, Emma. Always have been. Richard's dismissal. You're paranoid. We've treated you both the same. Lies. All of it. Another text, this time from Margaret, Liam's mother. We're appalled by how you've been treated. Liam's torn up, but Chloe's controlling everything. Stay strong. Her kindness cracked something in me, a sob catching in my throat. I'd met Margaret at the engagement party, her warmth a stark contrast to my family's coldness. She'd seen through the Harper facade, but what could she do now? I traced the hack further, my laptop humming. The code was sophisticated, laced with personal references. My Berkeley thesis title, my first Nexus Tech project. This wasn't random. It was someone who knew me, someone with a grudge. My mind flashed to Vanessa, Chloe's friend who'd rigged the chandelier. Or maybe it was Chloe herself, hiring a dark web mercenary to humiliate me. Or, wilder still, my parents, desperate to keep their socialite status intact by silencing my disloyalty. The live stream glitched again, this time showing a photo of me, age 10, at Chloe's princess-themed birthday. The caption read, "The Forgotten Sister." My blood ran cold. I shut it down, my heart pounding. I couldn't watch anymore. I didn't need to. That single image told me everything. I was being erased, but also weaponized. A ghost in their perfect story. I stood, my wine glass trembling in my hand. The San Francisco skyline glittered beyond my window. A world I'd built without them. I was done being their scapegoat, their shadow. But the hack wasn't over. Whoever was behind it had more to reveal, and I knew, with bone-deep certainty, that this was only the beginning. I opened my laptop again, my fingers steady now. If they wanted a war, they'd get one. I was Emma Harper, the girl who'd survived storms, carjackings, and chandeliers. I'd outsmarted hackers and built a career from nothing. And I'd be damned if I let my family, or whoever was pulling these strings, destroy me. The clock ticked toward dawn, the fog lifting over the bay. I didn't know what came next, but I knew one thing. I wasn't watching that wedding anymore. I was choosing myself, and whatever fallout followed, I'd face it head on. The San Francisco dawn broke in shards of gold and crimson, slicing through the fog that clung to my apartment windows like a shroud. I stood on my balcony, the chill of the morning biting my skin, my phone silent after the chaos of Chloe's wedding livestream. My name is Emma Harper, and at 32, I thought I'd seen the worst my family could throw at me. But the hacked stream, the taunting messages, the public erasure of my existence as Lillian called Chloe her only child. It was just the opening act. The real storm was brewing, and I was about to walk straight into it, armed with nothing but my wits and a laptop that had never failed me. My coffee machine hissed in the background as I re-entered my apartment, the sleek minimalist space now feeling like a war room. The hack from last night wasn't random. It was personal, surgical, designed to unravel me. My personal data, address, social security number, even my Berkeley thesis title, had flashed across that live stream. A digital knife held to my throat. I'd traced the signal to a dead end in Beijing, but the code's fingerprints screamed familiarity. Someone knew me, my life, my vulnerabilities. Was it Chloe, weaponizing her influencer army to punish me? Vanessa, her vindictive friend who'd nearly crushed me with a chandelier? Or my stomach twisted. Could it be my parents? Richard and Lillian? desperate to protect their Boston elite status by silencing my defiant? I sat at my glass desk, my laptop humming to life. Nexus Tech, my employer, had been hit by a ransomware attack last month, leaking my data and tying it to the Harper fortune. The timing wasn't coincidence. My family's wealth, built on Richard's hedge fund empire, was a magnet for predators, and I was the weak link. Or so they thought. I opened my trace logs, diving back into the code. The hacker had used a custom encryption layered with references to my life, my first Nexus Tech project, a firewall I'd built for a Fortune 500 client. This wasn't just a breach, it was a message. We see you, Emma. We know everything. My phone buzzed, shattering my focus. A text from Ethan, my cousin. Fire at the venue was worse than I thought. Half the reception tent burned down. Chloe's blaming you, saying your negative energy jinxed it. Liam's AWOL. I stared at the words, a bitter laugh escaping my lips. Chloe, blaming me for a fire 3,000 miles away while her marriage imploded. Classic. I texted back, Liam's gone? What's the story? Ethan's reply was cryptic. He left mid-reception. Heard him arguing with Chloe about secrets. Nobody's talking specifics. Secrets. The word lodged in my chest like a splinter. Liam's text from 3 days ago echoed in my mind. This marriage was a mistake. Chloe's obsessed with outshining you. He'd hinted at Chloe's paranoia, her fear that my career, my independence, threatened her spotlight. But secrets? Was he talking about the prenup he'd cited in his annulment filing, the one he called fraudulent, or something darker, tied to the hack that had my life flashing across a wedding livestream? I pushed the thought aside, focusing on the hack. My fingers flew over the keyboard, pulling apart the malicious code. A hidden signature emerged, buried in the metadata. Viper X. My blood ran cold. Viper X was a notorious dark web alias, a hacker I'd tangled with last year during a Nexus Tech breach. They'd targeted our clients' financial data, and I'd shut them down, earning a promotion and, apparently, an enemy. But how did Viper X know about Chloe's wedding? The connection felt too precise, too personal. I needed answers, and I needed them fast. The phone rang, an unknown number. My gut screamed danger, but I answered, my voice steady. Who is this? Silence, then that same distorted voice from last night. You didn't listen, Emma. Keep digging, and your precious Pentagon contract goes up in flames. The line cut off. My heart pounded, adrenaline spiking. The Pentagon contract, my career-defining project, a cybersecurity overhaul for classified systems, was weeks away from launch. I'd been assigned to it, despite the wedding clash. My boss, Claire, warning me. This is your shot, Emma. Screw it up, and you're out. The hacker knew about it. How? I called Claire, my CTO and mentor, her voice crisp despite the early hour. Emma, what's wrong? You sound like you've seen a ghost. I spilled everything, the wedding, the hack, the threat. Claire's response was immediate. Lock down your systems. I'm sending a forensics team to your apartment. If Viper X is back, this isn't just about you. It's about Nexus Tech. Her words grounded me, but the stakes were suffocating. My job, my reputation, my life, everything was on the line. By noon, my apartment was a crime scene. Nexus Tech's forensics team swept for bugs, their scanners beeping as they dismantled my smart devices. Found something, a tech said, holding up a tiny camera embedded in my router. My skin crawled. Someone had been watching me, possibly for months. The burglary last month. When Chloe's entourage trashed my place, stealing my grandmother's necklace and my backup drives, suddenly felt less like retribution and more like recon. Had Chloe's crew planted the camera? Or was Viper X closer than I thought? I called Ethan, my voice tight. Did Chloe or Vanessa ever mention a hacker, someone named Viper X? He hesitated, then said, Not directly, but Vanessa was bragging about digital connections at the bachelorette party, said she could ruin someone with a click. I thought she was drunk. My mind raced. Vanessa? The chandelier rigging friend who'd always hated me for no reason? Was she Viper X or a pawn in a bigger game? The forensics team left, promising a report by evening. I sank onto my couch, exhaustion warring with fury. My phone buzzed again, this time a voicemail from Lillian, her voice slurred with champagne. Emma, you ungrateful child. Logging off the stream after we paid $10,000, 0 cents for your bridesmaid role? You've cursed Chloe's day. I deleted it, my hands shaking. Paid $10,000? 0 cents? They'd reimbursed every other bridesmaid, leaving me to foot the bill for dresses, flights, even Chloe's private jet honeymoon. The lie was galling, but typical. Lillian and Richard had backed Chloe's decision to demote me, citing disloyalty in a call that still burned in my memory. You're too difficult, Emma, Chloe had sneered. This is my day, and you're ruining it. I thought back to that call 8 weeks before the wedding. I'd spent $12,000, 0 cents, my savings for a master's degree, on Chloe's demands, $1,500, 0 cents, dresses, Botox, Ibiza trips. When I pushed back, she'd threatened to leak a fabricated scandal about my work ethic, claiming I'd sabotaged a Nexus Tech project. I'd called her bluff, but the stress had nearly broken me. Dr. Sarah Nguyen, my therapist, had been my lifeline, urging me to skip the wedding. What are you fighting for, Emma? She'd asked. A family that doesn't see you? Her words had led me to Yosemite, to a solo survival course that rebuilt my strength. But now, back in San Francisco, the fight was coming to me. A knock at my door jolted me. It was Maya, my best friend, her startup founder energy bursting through as she hugged me. Ethan called me, said you're in deep shit. Spill. Over coffee, I told her everything. The hack, the camera, Viper X. Maya's eyes narrowed. Chloe's too shallow to pull this off, but Vanessa? She's got the mean streak, and your parents. They'd do anything to keep their socialite cred. She paused, then added, What about Liam? He's been weirdly quiet. Liam? The name twisted like a knife. His text from the hotel had been raw, desperate. Chloe forced this marriage. She's terrified of you, Emma. Your success, your independence. He'd hinted at her fraudulent prenup, but what did that mean? Was it tied to the hack? I pulled up his message, rereading it. There's a lot you don't know. What didn't I know? And why was he reaching out now, after 3 weeks of silence? My phone pinged with an email from Chloe, her tone uncharacteristically soft. I'm sorry about the live stream. I didn't mean for things to get so bad. Can we talk? I stared at it, suspicion prickling. Chloe apologizing? After photoshopping me out of family portraits? After slapping Liam at the reception? It felt like a trap, but part of me, the part that still remembered us as kids, before the favoritism poisoned everything, wanted to believe her. I called Dr. Moon, needing her clarity. Chloe's reaching out, I said, but I don't trust it. And this hack? Someone's trying to destroy me. Her voice was calm, steadying. Emma, you've spent your life proving you're enough. This hack, this wedding, it's their chaos, not yours. What do you want? I closed my eyes, the answer crystallizing. I want to fight back. Not for them, but for me. That evening, the forensics report confirmed my worst fears. The camera in my router was military grade, linked to a dark web marketplace frequented by ViperX. But there was more. A second device, planted in my smoke detector, had been streaming audio. My private calls, my therapy sessions, my late-night rants to Maya. All compromised. I felt violated, exposed, but also enraged. Whoever did this underestimated me. I was a cybersecurity analyst, trained to outsmart the best. ViperX was about to learn that. I dove back into the code, working through the night. By 3 a.m., I'd cracked a layer of ViperX's encryption, revealing a connection to a Boston IP address. My heart sank. Boston, home of my parents, Chloe, and their endless schemes. Was this their doing? A desperate bid to control the narrative after their sham wedding fell apart? Margaret, Liam's mother, had called it that in her text, accusing Richard and Lillian of orchestrating the marriage to climb Boston's social ladder. But why target me? To keep me silent about their favoritism, their lies? A new email arrived, this time from an anonymous sender. Stop digging, Emma, or the Pentagon contract leaks next. Attached was a photo of me in Yosemite, mid-hike, taken from a drone I hadn't noticed. My breath caught. They'd followed me, even there, in my sanctuary. The threat was clear. My career, my future, was on the chopping block. But I wasn't backing down. I called Claire, updating her on the Boston IP. This is bigger than we thought, she said. I'm looping in the FBI. Stay safe, Emma. Safe? My apartment was a surveillance hub, my family a minefield, and a hacker was breathing down my neck. Safety wasn't an option. The next morning, Aunt Evelyn arrived in San Francisco, her face lined with regret. Over coffee at a noisy cafe, safer than my bugged apartment, she spilled decades of family secrets. Your parents always favored Chloe because she needed them, she said. Your independence scared them. They didn't know how to handle a daughter who didn't beg for their approval. She paused, her eyes soft. I should have spoken up when you were a kid. I saw how they treated you. Your perfect SATs ignored. Your coding wins dismissed. I failed you. Her words hit hard, but they also lit a spark. I wasn't alone. Evelyn, Ethan, Margaret. People saw the truth, even if my parents didn't. I hugged her, tears stinging my eyes. You're here now, I said. That's enough. But it wasn't enough. That afternoon, Chloe's influencer followers launched a smear campaign, flooding Twitter with lies. Emma Harper abandoned her sister's wedding out of jealousy. She's a fraud at Nexus Tech, faking her credentials. The posts went viral, tagging my employer. My phone lit up with notifications. Colleagues texting in confusion. Claire called, her voice grim. The board's asking questions. Handle this, Emma, or the Pentagon deal's off. I felt the walls closing in, but I refused to break. I posted a single tweet. The truth will come out. I'm not the villain here. It was vague, deliberate, a shot across the bow. Let them wonder what I knew. Let them sweat. Then came the bombshell. Ethan called, his voice urgent. Chloe paid the photographer to erase you from every family photo. But there's more. Liam found something in her prenup. She hid assets, Emma, millions, funneled through offshore accounts. He thinks your parents knew. My mind reeled. Offshore accounts? Was that the fraud Liam cited in the annulment? And did it tie to Viper X, to the hack? I met Maya at a rooftop bar, needing her fire to keep me grounded. "This is some soap opera shit," she said, sipping a martini. "Chloe's laundering money, your parents are complicit, and Viper X is their hired gun. Or," she leaned in, eyes gleaming, "Liam's playing you. He's too quiet, too guilty." Her words planted a seed of doubt. Liam's apologies, his cryptic texts, were they genuine or a cover for something else? That night, I got a call from Liam. Against my better judgment, I answered. "Emma, I need to see you," he said, his voice raw. "I'm in San Francisco. Chloe's not who you think. She's mixed up with dangerous people, people who know Viper X." My pulse spiked. "What people?" I demanded. He hesitated. "Meet me tomorrow, Pier 39, noon. I'll explain everything." I hung up, my mind a battlefield. Was Liam telling the truth or luring me into a trap? Pier 39 was public, crowded, safe, theoretically, but after the burglary, the chandelier, the hack, I wasn't taking chances. I packed a taser, a backup phone, and a flash drive with my trace logs. If Liam was playing me, I'd be ready. The next day, Pier 39 buzzed with tourists, the air thick with salt and fried clams. Liam stood by the carousel, his face haggard, eyes scanning the crowd. "Emma?" he said, spotting me. "I'm sorry. I should have stopped Chloe sooner." He handed me a USB drive. "This is her prenup, original and doctored versions. She hid $5 million, 0 cents, in a Cayman Islands account, tied to your parents' hedge fund. I think Viper X was hired to keep you quiet." I stared at the drive, my heart pounding. "Why me?" I asked. Liam's eyes dropped. "Because you're the threat. Your cybersecurity work, you could expose their financial games." "Chloe's terrified of you, Emma." "Always has been." His words echoed Evelyn's. My independence? My success? Was there kryptonite? Before I could respond, a scream pierced the air. A drone crashed feet away, its camera glinting in the sun. Tourists scattered, but I saw the logo. Viper X. My instincts kicked in. I grabbed Liam, pulling him behind a kiosk. "They're watching," I hissed. He nodded, pale. "I think they followed me." We ran, weaving through the crowd, my taser in hand. The drone buzzed overhead, relentless. I ducked into an alley, Liam behind me, and uploaded the USB's contents to my secure cloud. Whatever Chloe was hiding, I had it now. And I wasn't letting Viper X or my family win. Back at my apartment, I locked the doors, my heart still racing. The USB revealed a paper trail. Chloe's hidden accounts, Richard's signatures, Lillian's coded emails to a Cayman banker. It was a house of cards, and I held the match. But Viper X was still out there, and the Pentagon contract hung by a thread. I called Claire, updating her. "You're in over your head," she warned. "But you're not alone. We're mobilizing the FBI. Stay sharp." That night, Chloe emailed again. "I know you met Liam. Please, Emma, let's talk. I'm scared." Scared? The word didn't fit her. Was she playing me, or was she caught in her own web? I didn't reply. Instead, I dove deeper into the hack, my laptop glowing in the dark. Viper X's signature led to a Boston nightclub. a known front for money laundering. The pieces were falling into place, but the puzzle was far from complete. Then, a miracle. My phone buzzed with a text from Noah, the trauma surgeon I'd been dating. Heard about the drama? I'm here, Emma. Whatever you need. His words, simple and steady, broke through the chaos. I called him, my voice cracking. I'm fighting a war I didn't start, I said. He listened, then replied, You're stronger than they know, and you've got me. For the first time in days, I smiled. Noah's family, warm, supportive, normal, was a lifeline I hadn't expected. With him, Maya, Evelyn, and even Liam's shaky alliance, I wasn't alone. The next morning, I stood on my balcony, the San Francisco skyline a promise of freedom. I'd survived Chloe's wedding, Viper X's hack, my family's betrayal. The FBI was closing in, my evidence mounting. Chloe's empire was crumbling, and I was no longer her shadow. I was Emma Harper, and I was rewriting my story. One line of code, one boundary, one truth at a time. What was on that USB drive that could bring down the Harpers? Was Chloe a mastermind or a pawn? And who was Vibergs, really? Vanessa, my parents, or someone else entirely? The answers were out there, waiting, and I'd find them, no matter the cost.